big hit mom. Army speculates. Is there a secret connection behind the joke? Jokes made by BTS members on several occasions are always in the spotlight, especially when they feel ambiguous or can have a double meaning. But recently, a joke that appeared in one of the members' interactions mainly involving Jungkook and Jimin has made ARMY excited and speculated. This stems from a clip that was widely circulated on social media, featuring a spontaneous moment in which Jungkook is seen flirting with Jimin with light sentences, but with looks and gestures that are considered unusual by fans. One of the viral moments was when Jungkook said with a laugh, "If the ARMY knew how we really are, it would be shocked," followed by Jimin's laugh that looked a little nervous, but full of meaning before long. ARMYs around the world began to speculate about the meaning of the joke. Some consider it just a form of casual familiarity between two close friends. However, there are also those who believe that there is a layer of hidden meaning behind the joke, especially since Big Hit or HYB simply do not give any clarifications or responses, when usually agencies are quite quick to respond to too wild speculation. The fandom began to split into two. One side was relaxed and enjoyed joking as part of BTS's dynamic, which was indeed full of color and humor. But the other side tries to read deeper, linking the moment to other interactions that have occurred over the years. I didn't say they were dating, but the energy of the two of them at that time was strangely intimate. And what makes it even more interesting, why is HYB silent? Wrote one of the accounts of the international fanbase. The reticence on the part of the agency provoked even more questions. Some K-pop media experts say this could be HYB's strategy to let the public furor become indirect promotion. But there are also those who consider that this attitude of silence is not without cause. So far, Big Hit is known to be quite strict in regulating the narrative around relationships between members and other sensitive issues. When they chose not to provide clarification, some fans saw it as a silent sign that speaks. That is, if the joke is harmless or there is nothing behind it, it shouldn't be difficult to give an official statement, right? After the joke clip went viral, the ARMY began to dig up old moments that were considered to support this speculation. From behind-the-scenes footage of Jungkook staring at Jimin for too long, to an interview session where he blushed while discussing relationships between members. In fact, there are also clips from the past when they gave each other personal nicknames that only the two of them understood. Everything is now being rewatched with new glasses. One of the most reshared moments was when Jimin said in a vlog, "There are enough things for just the two of us to know." Once this phrase was just taken for granted. Now, with the advent of Jungkook's viral joke, this sentence has become like a puzzle piece that matches the ARMY's speculation. On the one hand, this kind of speculation shows how much fans love and pay attention to every detail of their idol. But on the other hand, some fans warned that going too far in interpreting jokes could have an impact on the members' privacy and psychological pressure. Even so, what cannot be denied is the fact that Jungkook and Jimin's interaction this time has reopened a major discussion in ARMY circles about closeness, friendship boundaries, and the importance of transparent communication from the agency. Currently, there is no further news from HYB, Jimin, or Jungkook. However, many predict that on the occasion of future interviews or broadcasts, perhaps after the end of the draft, questions around their closeness will reappear. Meanwhile, fans continue to create fan art, fanfics, and analysis threads of those interactions, proving just how much appeal BTS has, not just as musicians, but as human beings with complicated, honest, and sometimes mysterious relationships. After an endless wave of speculation, fans began to debate one core question: was the joke really just a joke, or was it a deliberately subtle hint leaked by Jungkook? Some fans with sharp eyes even tried to dissect facial expressions, body language, to the sound of Jungkook and Jimin's laughter in the viral clip. Video-by-video analysis posted to various platforms, with comments such as, "Look at the way Jungkook touched his ear after saying that. That's a sign of nervousness." Jimin didn't reject the joke. He even smiled a nod, as if understanding the hidden context. This is not the first time BTS members have teased fans with ambiguous jokes. But this time it felt different because the momentum and context came while they were all serving their enlistment's A period, where communication with fans was so limited that each piece of content felt more meaningful and enigmatic. The ARMY described the interaction as a small moment with a big impact. Some even liken it to an Easter egg in a movie, small, easy to miss, but harboring hints of a grand narrative yet to unfold. What makes this moment even more evocative is the background of Jungkook and Jimin's relationship that has existed since they were teenagers. They are not just colleagues or fellow members, but friends who have gone through ups and downs for more than a decade. Their interactions are always filled with a natural chemistry, warmth, and closeness that is almost indescribable in words. Big Hit's silence actually gave space for the ARMY to assemble their own narrative. Theories began to emerge, ranging from plausible to what sounded like fan-made fiction stories. But what is clear, all of that was born from a great sense of love and curiosity towards the members. Not a few also consider that this joke can be a kind of soft announcement or a unique way for the members to build emotional engagement with fans, without having to frontally explain anything. For many ARMY, this is reminiscent of BTS' early days when they often inserted hidden messages in music videos, song lyrics, to spontaneous feel-lives. Now, when they are in a military hiatus, this kind of moment is back in the limelight and makes fans feel close again, even though they are physically far away. The Korean media has not commented much publicly on this joke, perhaps because of its sensitivity. But some online forums like Decoding and Pan8 are starting to fill up with discussions around this topic, mostly of a curious but positive tone. Meanwhile, a number of ARMY International chose to be neutral, suggesting that fans still respect the privacy of the members and not speculate too much if there is no confirmation. A joke is a joke. But deepening its meaning with respect, not gossip, is a form of love too, wrote one Canadian ARMY. Fans are now looking forward to whether any further interactions corroborate or refute these speculations. Will there be any comments from other members? Or will Jungkook and Jimin respond directly or indirectly in future broadcasts after completing their enlistments? Most of ARMY agreed that, no matter what, the bond between the members and their fans was genuine and strong. The joke, though lighthearted, serves as a reminder that BTS is not just a music group, but also a family that has shared so many moments, with all of us as witnesses to their journey over time. Jokes that were initially considered trivial have now slowly developed into a phenomenon of their own among fans. ARMY began referring to the moment as the Jikook code, a term referring to allegations that Jungkook and Jimin deliberately conveyed hidden messages to their fans, especially those who have been sensitive to the dynamics of relationships within BTS. Some theories have even suggested that the jokes were part of a personal strategy to maintain closeness with the ARMY and the military, when their direct interaction was very limited. On fan discussion forums such as Weverse, Reddit, to the international Discord community, analysis after analysis has sprung up in astonishing detail. It's not about romance or gossip, it's about how they understand each other and show their humanity. The joke feels like their way of reminding us that they are still there, still together, and still want us to connect, wrote one user on Reddit. Interestingly, after the joke went viral, fans began to observe the interaction of other members. Some moments between Taeyoung V and Jimin, or between Jungkook and Jin, also began to be associated as if there was a hidden theme they were playing together. For example, Jin's words in one of the videos before enlisting in the ARMY read, "Later you will understand why we always say, we are not just a group." At that time, the sentence was considered only as a form of compactness. Now he is considered part of a huge mosaic full of mysteries. Not a few ARMY also stated that maybe BTS did want to give space for fans to interpret their own relationship.